How to attain peace and happiness. So we welcome all of you. Hare Krishna. So the key to happiness. How to attain peace and happiness. So we will begin by paying obeisances to our Guru Acharyas. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. This is a humble gratitude to all our previous acharyas who have given us this storehouse of knowledge through the disciplic succession. So, the key to happiness, yes. So everybody is searching for happiness, right? Everybody, including humans, animals, insects, every living being is searching for this happiness. But the question is, how many have really achieved it? How many of us have actually attained this happiness that we are all searching for? Generally, we are all told that, my dear son or my dear daughter, please go to school, work hard, do your studies properly so that you get a good job, you get a good pay, and then once you get rich, you will be very happy. So many of us have already done this. Have we actually reached that happiness? That's a question which today we will ponder on. This is the most common misconception taught all over the world, that more money equals more happiness. But this is a very big misconception. Why? Because if this was really true, then those who have more money should be more happy, right? If this is actually true, those who have more money should be more happy. Now, the real question which we will explore today is, will money really make us happy? Because this is what has been taught to us throughout our whole student life, throughout our whole career, that more money will bring you more happiness. But the reality is that more money or more facilities invite many enemies, many difficulties into our life. So here we have the income tax department. The more money we earn, the more we will be scrutinized by the income tax department, who wants to take a better share of our profit. And we will have many friends in the form of thieves. They will keep a close watch on us all the time, that where he's going, where he's coming, where do his relatives stay, and at what time he goes through which roads, and they'll plan to have a meeting with you to take away that money, which was so-called source of happiness. And with them comes the police and all other kind of other groups who are trying to either protect us or exploit us or whatever you may say. And at the end, even our own family members. Even we cannot really trust anybody anymore. The situation is such that we have so much money or we have so much facilities that everybody is trying to get a share, a bit out of us. And we are in a dilemma. Whom should we trust and whom should we not trust? Our most near and dear ones, even our nearest family members, cannot be fully trusted by such a person who has the misconception that more money will give me more happiness. And there are many cases, many actual facts where some very near or dear one had committed some crime to get money, had even arranged a murder or a hitman to get the big insurance bill or to get all the property in their name. So this very big misconception that money will really make me happy has to be exposed on a level or another. And today we're going to search, or we're going to ponder over, we're going to try to pinpoint where do we actually get that happiness. So we're going to do an experiment, and I want all of you to do this experiment. It's very easy. So you have to just imagine, or you suppose, that the whole world belongs to you, including all the cars, money, buildings, airplanes, gadgets, necklaces, jewels, or gold, whatever it may be in this world which attracts us, which makes us feel very happy. All of that will be given to you, but only on one condition. There's a condition which applies here, and that is, the condition is, you will be the only person on this planet. That means this whole planet belongs to you, but you will be the only person, the only living being on this planet. Will you be happy? This is the question. This is the question of this experiment. Will I be happy if I am given this whole world, this whole planet with all of its riches and goods, but I am the only person existing on this planet? And it's all mine. I don't have to share it with anyone. I don't have to give anyone. I can keep it all for myself. But is that going to make me happy at all? That's the question. Whereas, on the other hand, we go to the second part of the experiment. The second part is, we have a person who isn't very rich, or who doesn't have all the facilities that we dreamt of, and he's not a really well-to-do or very posh living person. He's a general day-to-day person, but he has got one special friend, and it doesn't even have to be a human being. It might be just even a small sparrow, a small bird, as you can see in this slide. But that one living being, or that one, let's say, friend, he's got a friend, has full faith in him, trusts him, loves him, and eats from his hand some nuts or some food. Who would be experiencing more happiness? The person with everything in the world without any relationship, or the person with nothing much but a true relationship, a true friend to share his heart and share his love with? So this is where we're going today. Through this experiment, all of us can realize or experience that the happiness that we are searching for isn't in the material things, isn't in facilities, isn't in the money, isn't in the buildings, cars, or all the gadgets that we search for. We search for happiness in all these things, but actually happiness doesn't even exist there. Happiness exists in relationships between two living beings. We are all living beings, right? And there is a difference between living matter and dead matter. We are living matter. And as soon as a person passes away or dies, immediately his body becomes dead matter. So there is a very big difference between living person and a dead person. So when two living persons or two living beings share a relationship of love, trust, and service to each other, then that happiness is experienced there. These daily objects are used to serve each other and get happiness by giving happiness. So this is a very big lesson, a very big eye-opener for all of us who had been simply brainwashed into believing that more money equals more happiness. This is a very, very wrong materialistic conception. It's a wrong materialistic equation. And the reason behind it may be some people who want to exploit us to become richer. I won't get into details, but if you understand, then you're wise. But the point is that we are led to believe that more money equals to more happiness for the benefit of somebody else. And even that person getting more money won't actually be happy. Ultimately, even through this experiment, we have very easily understood that happiness isn't in material objects. Rather, it is in relationships with living things. So happiness is in sharing or in love. When we love, then we can actually experience that happiness. And the question is, who are our most loved ones, right? We have family, we have close friends, we have loved people. Who do we love the most? If we ask this question, then we will find that whomever we love the most is because they are serving us. They are giving us some happiness. They are trying to please us, and that's why we love them in return. So what stops us from serving others? We could also be a source of happiness to others. We could also give joy and love to others. But what stops us from serving others? It is our ego or our selfish nature. So only due to this selfish nature do we think that if I get more, I will be more happy. I won't give anybody anything. I'll keep it all for myself and I will be the happiest. But this is the very wrong conception. This is the very conception of materialism. This is the basis of materialism, that more materials will make me more happy. And as the thumbnail of this video showed us, less is more. So the concept behind it is you don't need a ton of material facilities to be happy. You can be very happy with even less facilities, provided you know the way to be happy. You know the source of happiness, which today we discuss and we try to analyze, is our relationship with living beings, our relationship with each other. This is the source of happiness. This is the source, and all the efforts of earning money, of gaining things, of getting more and more materials is to share that with the persons we love, to take care of each other and feel that happiness, enjoy that happiness. So there's a nice quote by some person, I'm forgetting the name, but the quote is a very beautiful quote. He's saying that things were made to be used and people were made to be loved. But nowadays, things are being loved and people are being used. And it makes a lot of sense, which is actually the exact situation of today. People are using people to get things and to love things. But through this whole seminar or this experiment, we come to realize that things aren't going to make us happy. That's not the source of happiness. The source of happiness is relationship with living people. So we have to use things. Definitely, I'm not saying don't earn money or don't have gadgets or don't collect materials. No, that's not my point. My point is that we should know the source, or we should know where are we going to get that happiness? Where should we focus more? What is our priority? Are we going to be more materialistic in life, or are we going to be more spiritual? Spiritual means in regard to spirit, right? So I am a spirit soul, you are a spirit soul, and all other living beings are spirit souls. So are we going to give more importance to our spiritual relationship with each other? Or are we going to give more importance to our material facilities and our material garbage, our material junk that we collect in the form of money, in the form of gadgets, in the form of facilities or cars or properties or whatever? So this is a very important point to be discussed and understood. So spirituality helps us overcome these barriers. It helps us overcome our ego, that why should I serve him? He should serve me. Why should I become humble? I am the boss. I'm not a servant. But the whole point is that we are getting happiness by serving, by helping somebody, by giving somebody happiness, we get that happiness. So to get over this ego issue or to get over our selfish nature, spirituality is the path to help us overcome it. And what exactly is spirituality? So as you can see, I have marked it in different colors: spirit and spirituality, right? So the philosophy or the path which is uh, connected to spirit, which is connected to the soul. So here, when we're going to have a breakdown of our material, our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual self. This is from the Bhagavad Gita. I'll just quote the verse. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya param mana manasastu para buddhi yo buddhe paratastusa. This is from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is giving us a very nice breakdown of the hierarchy of matter and spirit. So the very beginning or the very bottom we can see are the sense objects. That means all the material things, the money, the gold, the diamonds, and the buildings, the cars, the gadgets, and everything else. These are all sense objects. These are non-living objects. So these are inferior to the senses. The senses means our, like we have 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, touch. So there's more, but just for basic detail, we have these 5 senses which are enjoying the sense objects, which are enjoying the material facilities. So after this is the mind. Above the senses also is the mental platform, the mind. As we know in biology, that the senses, they get some reception, they get some stimuli, and then they send electric signals to the brain, which in turn gives an idea to the mind of what is going on. So the mind is aware of all these things, and if we are asleep, or if our mind is not aware of it, then it may be daylight, but we won't realize it. There may be loud, or there will be some sound, we don't hear it. It might be too hot, we don't feel it. So the mind is above the senses. So first is the material platform, then is the sensual platform, then comes the mental platform, which we are just discussing right now, which is the mind, and then is the intellectual platform, which is the intelligence. So our mind is like a reservoir of thoughts and unfulfilled desires. And its job is to keep prompting us, to give us all kinds of ideas. Now let's do this, let's do that. How about this? Could we do this? The mind is constantly prompting us with various desires, which are stored, that I couldn't do it, now let's try to do it. But then we have an intelligence which analyzes. For example, let's eat something now. So that is first channelized to the intelligence, and the intelligence analyzes. When did I eat last? I ate only 2 hours ago. And if I eat right now, then it's going to interrupt my digestion. And then I'll not feel hungry during lunch, which I have already promised somebody to have lunch with them. And if I don't feel hungry and I have to force myself to eat, then I'll get sick, and tomorrow morning my office will be delayed, and I'll have to whatever. So the intelligence calculates all of this and then gives a result in a yes or a no. So this is the intellectual platform, which is more sensible or more close to our real self. But even beyond this is the platform of the false ego. Now the false ego is the identification. I am identifying myself as a young man, as a fat person, or a thin person, or a black person, or a white person, as a woman, as a man, as a child, as a old man, or whatever, as a human being. And somebody else, another living being, is identifying itself as an animal, as a dog, as a bird. So these are not the real identities of us. All of us, all living beings, are similar in identity. We are all spirit souls. We are all servants or children of God. But according to our various desires, according to our various different desires, God gives us a chance to fulfill them in the forms of different bodies. Say somebody desires to be free like a bird, and he wants to fly wherever he wants to go and be free. So God can fulfill that desire. He can give him a bird's body. But the soul, the spirit soul, is the same. He's the same while he's in the bird's body. He's the same when he's in a human body. He's the same when he's in an ant body or even in an elephant body. He's the driving force behind this body, which in Sanskrit is known as Atma, or in English is called soul, the spirit soul. So this is the spiritual vision. So right now, when we are not on that spiritual platform or that spiritual vision, we are on the platform of false ego. The false ego means, I am, I exist. If I am able to think that I am, that means that is my ego. But the term false ego means I am identifying with something which I really am not. So just to give you a brief idea, we'll tell one story so we get an idea. So once there was an eagle who laid his egg, but somehow or other that egg rolled down the tree or was mixed with the eggs of a chicken. So now the chicken is a dutiful mother. She sits on her eggs every day until they hatch. So this hawk or this eagle's egg got mixed with the chicken's egg. And in due course of time, all the eggs, took birth. And all the chicks came out, and this small baby eagle also was born. And all it could see around itself was chickens. He could see in the barn, he could see many chickens, and he could see small chicklings or small, small chickens, chicks. And he would observe that what does everybody do, and he would do the same, because he couldn't see himself. He wasn't aware of his own self. He thought that I am just whatever is all around me. I am born with all of these, and I am just one of these. And one day, an intelligent person was walking by, and he saw this funny scene. He saw that in the barn of chickens, all the chickens are, pecking the floor and looking for some worms or some food. And he saw this baby eagle. He's also pecking the floor and looking for some food, behaving just like a chicken. So he called over that eagle and he said, "My dear eagle, what are you doing in this barn with all the chickens?" And the eagle replied, "Who are you speaking to? I'm not an eagle. I'm a chicken." So this went on, and then that young man, he said, "Okay, just come over. I'll show you something, so you get an idea what I'm speaking about." So he took him over to a pond nearby, and he said, "Just look into the pond and tell me what you see." So this baby eagle looked into the pond, and for the first time, he saw his own reflection. He saw that he looked very different from a chicken. He was dark in color, he had a golden beak, and he was different in dimension also. And so this young person told him that you open your wings, open your arms and see. And he saw that he had huge wings. And the person said that you flap these wings and try to fly now. And as the eagle followed the advice of that intelligent person, he actually took off and he found his real glory. So this is similarly, all of us, we are born into this material world in various bodies, and we start identifying that I am also a human, or I am a dog, or I am whichever body we are born in, we identify with that body. But this is a false identification, because actually I am a living soul. I am a spirit soul. So spirituality means we go to a wise person who is known as a guru or a spiritual master, and under his guidance we learn our real glory, who we actually are, what actually is our capacity, and how to achieve that. So beyond the level of false ego is the pure soul, the spiritual and the real self. So spirituality means to transcend all these various levels of consciousness or various levels of experiences and reach our original soul level of consciousness. That means as a spirit soul. That is the whole journey of spirituality. And in this journey, we can get rid of many negative things which we have, like we discussed, our ego barriers or our, selfishness. We can get rid of all of these, and we can become a very lovable person. We can learn how to love others, by the process of learning how to love God, learning how to love Krishna in this case, because we are speaking of Krishna consciousness. So we go on to our next slide. So this is a very nice verse from the Upanishads, which is comparing this body to a chariot with horses in it. And as we can see, the passenger is given the position of the soul, is compared to the soul. Like all of us, we are the passenger in this body, in this chariot. And the driver of this chariot is the intelligence. The mind is the reins which are connecting the intelligence to the senses. So this is the analogy given in our Upanishads. And so the position is that we are not this body. This body is like a chariot. We are a passenger who is seated within this body and who is searching for his goal, or who has to go to a destination, right? Whenever we are on a chariot, it means, we want to travel to our destination. And what is our destination? All of us have simply one destination in life. We're all searching for the same goal. We're searching for the same destination. And that is the topic of today's seminar. How to be peaceful and how to be happy. That's simply as simple as that. That is the goal of life for every person. Nobody is trying to be, how can I be more miserable? How can I be more, just suicidal in life? No. Out of frustration, he might, become bewildered, but actually everybody's goal is simply how to be happy, how to be peaceful. So there's a nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita which is giving us step-by-step understanding of how to be happy. So this is the 66th verse of the second chapter. Chapter 2, verse number 66. I'll just repeat the Sanskrit for all of you, and then we can get into the meaning. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatah shantir ashantasya kutah sukham. The translation in English is, one who is not connected with the Supreme. That means one who doesn't know this knowledge given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. What happens? One who is not, well conversant with all of these philosophies or all of these concepts. And why should we? Because Bhagavad Gita is a very important book. It's like a manual of life. Just like you buy any gadget or any electronic device or anything, when you buy something, you get a user's manual. You get a small booklet which guides you how to use it and how to fulfill your what you want to do, how to fulfill your goals using this device. Similarly, this human form of life is a wonderful gift given by Lord Krishna. It's a wonderful machine. I'm a student of biology, and if you scientifically analyze this body or any body, any bodies, you will find that they are very intricate machines which are working wonderfully. They have all kinds of systems which are coexisting and communicating with each other through the brain, and much more details. So that is another topic. But this is like a machine, right? And we are the passenger, we are the user. And now the important point is that we should know how to use it. If we don't read the user's manual and we try to do things our own way without knowing the proper way, then we end up messing up. Generally, we end up frustrated and we end up not getting what we wanted. So, being connected with the Supreme means to read the knowledge given by Him, to try to understand how to use this body, how to get that actual happiness. And so all of these points, these are included in connecting with the Supreme, right? So if we are not able to do that, which majority or like 99% of today's population is not seriously inquiring about spirituality, so they are not connected with the Supreme. So the result is that we can neither have neither transcendental intelligence. That as you remember, as you see in this picture, The intelligence is controlling this machine. So if we don't have a strong intelligence, then he won't be able to properly guide this machine, and ultimately we, the soul or the passenger, will feel uncomfortable. We will be discomforted. So by connecting with the Supreme, we get very powerful intelligence, we get very clear, sharp intelligence, by which we can control the mind. We can have a steady mind. And not connecting to the Supreme and not having that transcendental intelligence will result in not having a steady mind. As you see in this picture again, if the intelligence is not fed properly, if he's very weak, then those reins which are controlling the horses will fall out of his hands. He will not be strong enough, or the horses will be pulling while running, they pull the reins, and if the reins fall out of the hand of the intelligence, out of the hand of the driver, what is going to happen? Those horses are going to go haywire. They're going to go left and right as they desire, because nobody's controlling them now. And the soul is going to be inconvenienced. We are going to be inconvenienced. So, with a steady intelligence, we can control the mind, and without which there is no possibility of peace. If the mind is not controlled, then there can never be peace in life. And today's main point is that. And how can there be any happiness without peace? This is the point where Lord Krishna is telling us that first of all, you try to be peaceful, and only then can you expect to be happy. So we are all running after facilities, or running after money, or running after fame, or whatever. But we must ensure that as much as facilities as we get, first of all, we must be peaceful in life. Just another very simple example. If you are very hungry and you have your food, you have a burger, or you have a chapati roll or whatever, and you sit down to eat it. But a hungry dog comes around and tries to snatch that from you. So you have to find a peaceful place first, where you can sit down and enjoy your food. You may have all the food, but if you don't find a peaceful place where you can sit and enjoy it, it's of no use. Similarly, we may have all facilities in life, we may have everything we wanted, but if we don't have a peaceful situation, either in our family, either in our home, either in our office, or wherever we are, even in our body, mind, and consciousness, if we are not peaceful, how will we enjoy our facilities? And that is what majority of people are facing today. They are so busy in getting facilities, and they sacrifice relationships, they sacrifice many other things to get those facilities. And when they do get those facilities, they find out that I'm not peaceful in life. I just want to sit down and be relaxed, but I cannot, because I've made such a lifestyle, I've made myself in such a way that I just cannot sit down and be happy anymore. I'm stuck in my own trap. It's like a cocoon. The silkworm. He builds a very beautiful cocoon made of silk, which is very, very precious, but he is stuck inside. Similarly, we should work in such a way, or we should lead our life in such a way by which we can control our mind, we can be peaceful, and we can actually enjoy the facilities, or we can have good relationships with everyone and be happy. And that is the goal of that's what every one of us is searching for. Minding business with the mind. So how do we control the mind? How can we make the mind peaceful? Lord Krishna is instructing Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita how to control the mind. And Lord Krishna is telling that you should do meditation. You should be situated in a place where nobody else is there, and you should sit down and meditate. But Arjuna, even 5,000 years ago, he rejected this proposal. He said, "My dear Krishna, my mind is very turbulent and obstinate, and I don't think I'll be able to control my mind." So in reply, Lord Krishna is telling this in the 6th chapter, verse number 35, "Asamshayam mahabaho manordu nigraham chalam abhyasena tu konteya vairagyena cha grihiyate." That yes, my dear Arjuna, I accept that the mind is very difficult to control, you have correctly stated. But there's two methods by which you can control the mind, and that is by suitable practice and by detachment. So if we can follow these two things, we can control our mind, we can find peace, and we can ultimately be happy. So what are these two things? We will discuss them a little bit in detail. So there's a very simple formula. So for things suitable, right? So the first point is the suitable practices. What practices should we follow to have a peaceful mind? So it's put into a very simple formula, which you will never forget. It's a ABCD formula, right? So everybody of us can remember these 4 points. You just remember this formula, A, B, C, D. These are the suitable practices which I have to follow every day. So A is for association. Association of like-minded spiritualists. This is very, very important to have peace in life. Somewhere where we are lacking, somewhere where we don't understand, a good association can help us. Just like if anybody wants to study, he has to go to school, he has to go to where students are studying. If somebody wants to do a good business, he has to go to the business market. He has to go to this place where all the businessmen are together. And together they help each other how to do better business. So similarly, if I want to advance in spirituality, to control my mind and to be ultimately peaceful and happy, it's very helpful to have that association of those who are already on this path, as they can help us, they can give us some hints, or they can encourage us to continue strongly. So these days, communication has become so fast or so powerful that all of you are sitting in your homes, I am sitting in my home, and still we are communicating. So this is called association. We are associating, and we are sharing each other's knowledge, or you can even ask questions, and in this way we are associating. We are clearing our doubts, we're encouraging each other. So this is very important. These are the spiritual practices which we must follow. The second point is B, so that is books. And this is also part of association, but this is also an important part, books. So if you want to learn spirituality, you must learn it, you must read it also. You must know the theory, the theoretical part, you must know it, and then you have to apply that practical application of it. But first of all, we must know the theory. So the books are what is going to help us on the theoretical part. That means we have a clear conception of what I'm supposed to do, what I am doing, and what kind of result I should expect. If I'm not getting those results, then I should, double check what's going wrong. I can ask my friends that, I'm trying to practice this, but it's not working, or I'm not able to do it. So you can get help. So books are very important to give us like a roadmap, or to know exactly what I'm doing and what I'm supposed to do. The next point is a very, very important point, which is C is for chanting the holy names of God, or in our case, the holy name of Lord Krishna. So this is very, very important, as we know that meditation is a very powerful technique for peace, calming down the mind, having peace. And this practice of chanting is also a meditation. It's a practical meditation. In this age where people's attention are so short-lived, or people are so distracted and they forget many things, and they're not in the best of their capacity, this is the most practical meditation technique, which is simply chanting. And there's a mantra, all of you already know it, is the Hare Krishna mantra. It has only 16 words in it, which are repetition of only 3 words. The first word is Hare, the second word is Krishna, and the third word is Ram. And these 3 are found in our Upanishads, in our own literatures, which are recommended for this Kali Yuga, this age. So the mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This can be either chanted on beads, or it can be sung in the form of songs, bhajans. It can be used in both ways. And it is super effective. It is very, very powerful, very, very effective. Immediately it calms down our mind. It gives us peace immediately. and it takes us further ahead on the path of spirituality. That is the real purpose of chanting the holy name, that is to take us closer to God, to develop that love towards God, and to feel that happiness through the love. And by loving God, the focal point is God, because by loving God, we will automatically love all of His children, right? So if I have a friend, if I love my friend a lot, and I go to his house to visit him, naturally I love all of his family, even if I'm not introduced to them before, even if I don't know them before. But because I love one person, I love all of his family also. So similarly, if I love the Supreme Lord Krishna, automatically I will love all of his children, which are in the form of humans, which are in the form of animals, which may be in the form of trees, fish, or insects. They are all children of Krishna. So if I learn how to love Krishna only, if I can just focus all my love on how can I have a good relation with Lord Krishna, how can I please him, how can I serve him, then automatically that love will spread to all other living beings who are all his part and parcels or his children. And just imagine how much happiness we can have. See, because originally we discussed or we realized that happiness is in relationships. So now I have only 4 relationships, so I have 4 times happiness, right? But if I have 100 relationships, I can have 100 times happiness. And if I have a relation with every single living being on this planet, so how much more happiness can I experience? And in that sense, less is more. That doesn't cost me anything, but if you work intelligently, you can get much, much more. So chanting is a very important technique of meditation and developing that love towards God, ultimately which will help us love all other living beings, which will make our character very lovable and very nice, and giving us a serving attitude. And the last point of the 4 is diet. D for diet. So we recommend, not we, I mean Lord Krishna recommends us to have a diet in the mode of goodness. And also at the same time, a diet which is offered as a sacrifice to the Lord. There's 2 verses in this regard. The first one is in the 3rd chapter, where Lord Krishna is telling, Yagyashishta Sheena Shanto Muchante Sarva Kilvishai Bhunjante Tve Agham Papa Ye Pachantyatma Karanat. The simple translation is, one who offers his food in sacrifice, his food is purified of all sins. But another person who cooks simply for his own satisfaction and does not offer that food in sacrifice, he eats only sin. That is, Lord is telling that to simply cook for yourself and not offer a sacrifice to the Lord is sinful. And if we continue to do that, we will not be peaceful, we will not be happy. But if we offer that food first as a sacrifice to the Lord, which doesn't cost us anything, you're not going to lose anything. You can put whatever you have cooked. It should be in the mode of goodness, because Lord Krishna likes only foods in the mode of goodness. So that is all kind of vegetarian foods, vegetables, rice, pulses, wheats, all these kind of things. You can make nice, delicious things and offer it to Krishna, but without onions and garlics. These are the exceptions, because onions and garlics are vegetables, but they come in the mode of passion and ignorance. So Lord Krishna doesn't accept them. So excluding onions and garlics, you can cook all kind of vegetables and rice and pulses and wheats and flours, breads, all of this, and you can offer it to Lord Krishna. There is no, Lord Krishna doesn't eat meat, fish, or eggs. So meat, fish, eggs, and onions are excluded, but you can offer all kinds of vegetarian foods with love and devotion. You can make a small special plate only for Lord Krishna, and you offer it with love and devotion. And after 10 or 15 minutes, you can take that offering and you can mix it with your other utensils. You can put it back in the pots, and then you can eat that. You can share it with your family. And simply by following this diet, you will find that your mind has been more controlled. It's been more peaceful. So Arjuna's question was, I cannot control my mind. And Krishna's answer is, yes, but if you do these practices, you can control your mind. So these practices are very important. That is the ABCD formula of association with like-minded spiritualists, to read books on spirituality, chanting the holy names of God, that is the mantra meditation, and the diet, to have this kind of a diet. This is very powerful and will very easily calm down, make our minds peaceful, make us free from all kinds of sin, and make us lovers of God. We will become closer to God and we'll really feel that happiness in our life. But at the same time, there was another point. So this was in the solutions for the mind, that is this slide, right? We have suitable practices, and then we have detachment. On the other hand, we have to follow detachment also. So detachment, right now I won't go into the details of it, but first of all, you can just try to follow the suitable practices. And detachment basically means that, give up things which Lord Krishna doesn't like, which Lord Krishna has forbidden us to do. So very briefly, I'll try to explain what things are forbidden. There's 4 things which are forbidden, which will cause our mind to become agitated, which will cause us to become not peaceful. That means full of anxiety. So these 4 things are causing harm to other living beings. That is, killing them. Even in different religions, there's prescriptions, thou shalt not kill, don't kill. So if we kill other living beings simply to enjoy our senses, to have a better taste, or whatever we may justify it with, but that is going to make us very, we're destroying the peace of everybody else. How can we be peaceful? There's a nice quote. How can you expect peace when your stomach is the graveyard of dead animals? So the first, the detachment from this first sinful activity of killing other living beings, causing harm to others, will never make us peaceful, will always make us upset and agitated in our mind. So we should avoid non-vegetarian foods, strictly avoid, because this is going to cause our minds to be uncontrolled, and that pain which we give to the other animal will return to us in the form of negative emotions, and even in the next life we have to suffer the karma. So that is the first point. The second point is no intoxication. Generally people get into intoxication so that they can get rid of depression. They can solve their problem. They think that by intoxication I'll forget my problem and the problem is solved. My depression is solved. But this is simply increasing the problem. If we have a problem and we don't know how to address it, and we just think that, okay, let me take this intoxicant and go to sleep, and I'll forget about my problem and I'll be happy. But the next morning when I wake up, or when that intoxicant's effect is finished, that problem is still staring me in the face. It has not been solved at all. Rather, it has been increased now because I have delayed the solution, and I even wasted my money and energy, or I've spoiled my relationships by doing intoxication. So this is a complete wrong conception which should be rejected. That is called detachment. We should be detached from this kind of activity. The third point is intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex. That means in the human society, there's a order of marriage, right? So sex is not prohibited because that's the demand of the body, and it's required to have children and to increase the society. So that is sacred when done in marriage. But illicit means which is done out of marriage, which is, let's say you're not married yet, but still you have physical relationships. So we should be detached from this. We should be far away from this because it spoils the peace of mind. This is very true. Just for example, many people, they face this problem in student life. They get into relationships while studying in schools or colleges, and it's completely avoid. You should avoid it. At least in student life, you should avoid it, because student life is a time when we are studying, when we are preparing our career. We are going to prepare our whole life, the basis of our life. And if we're not sincere, or if we're not attentive at that time, then what is our future? You can just imagine. We won't have a very strong future. And then generally, what is seen is that, during studies, people get into relationships, and during relationships, people get into troubles because they haven't studied properly. So our Vedic scriptures try to tell us that, okay, see, 25 years from the age 0 till 25 is your study time. So you simply focus on your studies. Okay, you will get married, you will have this enjoyment, but not now. Now you just focus on your studies. And when you become 25 years old, when you graduate from college, when you get a job and you start earning money, then you're allowed. Yes, you're allowed. You get married, you be a responsible person, and you have a relationship, you have children, and you have a nice family. What's wrong? But if we don't follow this kind of rules, and we just do whatever we want, then as we can see, people end up in big mess. They are in the middle of their studies, they have a relationship, they have a breakup for whatever reason. One of the partners can't get over it, and they're really upset and really depressed, and the other is also feeling bad that I just can't fulfill all of his emotions or needs, and I've got my own life and whatever. So this is not the time. The proper time is when you get married, and then you have a relationship with either only one husband or one wife. Otherwise, we see that so many animals, they face this problem. They have no fixed partner, and they're always fighting. That why did you approach my partner? Why did you approach my partner? So just to save us from all that unease, that unrest, that commotion, that fighting, and to establish peace in society, these rules have been in all societies. We find this institution of marriage so that we can be peaceful. So we should be detached from the activity of going outside our sacred marriage and having relation with others. You are allowed to have relationships you're allowed to have a sexual relationship within your marriage. Be responsible, and you can have that, and you can have children. You can take that responsibility and educate your children, make them nice citizens, give them a chance to get this ultimate happiness also. That means spirituality. Because the spirituality is only available in the human form of life. So whoever you give birth to, you should give him this opportunity to attain that spiritual happiness. And the fourth point is no gambling. That means you don't risk life. You work hard and you earn money. That means you be responsible. Don't gamble. Don't be speculative in life. So these four things should be avoided. It's called detachment from these four principles. I'll just repeat them. One is no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. These four things we should be detached from. We should reject these four things. And then we can have a peaceful mind. We can have a peace. And whatever facilities we have, be it more or less, we can really be happy. So these are some important points from our scriptures. And so mantra meditation, or chanting the names of God, is a very effective or very powerful way to calm down the mind, to have peace and happiness. So the breaking down this Sanskrit word, mantra, is man means the mind, and tra means to deliver, which translates into mantra, or that which delivers our mind. So it's a very simple process. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to, and there is no restriction that only you can do it, or you cannot do it, or he can do it, or she cannot do it, or it, whatever. Everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Anytime, any place, any circumstance, and without any payment. You don't have to pay anyone anything. It's free of cost. So what is that mantra meditation? It's as simple as this. It's this simple mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So all spiritual institutions, be it any religious organization, have some kind of songs, prayers, or mantras which will help us to control the mind, to be more peaceful and calm, and ultimately to develop our relationship with God to go beyond the false ego that I am this body, and to realize that no, I am not this body, I am beyond this body, I am the soul, I am the Atma. So this mantra meditation is what is going to take us forward in spirituality. And at the same time, we have to remember all the previous discussed points of the practices which are favorable for spirituality, and the detachment from the things which are unfavorable for our spiritual practices. So this is today's topic of how to be happy. To be happy, first of all, we must be peaceful. To be peaceful, we can take shelter of this chanting of the mantra, this mantra meditation, Hare Krishna mantra, and get that peace and happiness we're searching for. It's as simple as that. Now, theoretically, we might have so many doubts that how is it possible? No, I don't think it'll work, or no, whatever. But if you simply accept it and try it, just give it a try. Whenever you're in a big mess or a big disturbed, your mind is completely out of control, or you're really emotional, or you're really distressed, just remember this one mantra, just remember it and just chant it out. Try to chant it out softly as you can. If you can't, if you're in a situation where there's too many people around you, you can't chant it out, you simply repeat it in your mind also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you pray to the Lord. You can pray to Lord Krishna. Krishna, please protect me. Please make my mind peaceful. Please calm me down, and let me be more composed, so I can, get on my feet and think what I'm supposed to do now. How am I supposed to? Please help me with the solution to this problem. Please guide me what to do now, how to go ahead. And simply by doing this, if you get relief from your mental traumas or from your problems, then why not practice it? Why not accept it? It doesn't cost you anything, and neither am I gaining anything. It's not any business transaction. It's free. It's a technique. It's a mantra meditation technique. So just remember, whenever you're in a really big mess, you just remember this mantra. You chant this mantra. If it works for you, you keep it and you do it. And your happiness is our salary. If you're happy, that is fulfillment for us. That's the only reason why we are on the order of Lord Krishna. We are trying to help all the other living beings. By sharing happiness, we feel happiness. So that's the reward we get. So any questions regarding today's session? We discussed many points, all the way from money to our hierarchy of the senses, the mind, the intelligence, the ego, and ultimately the soul. Then we discussed about techniques, how to control the mind, how to become more peaceful, and we discussed mantra meditation. So any questions you can ask in the comment section. I'll try to give you answers. Okay, Keshav has given the answer to that experiment. Yes. So no, Prabhuji, I will not be happy. I will be alone on this planet. It will be difficult to survive alone on this earth. So yeah, we have got the point that happiness is in relationships, right? Oh, Krishna Lok Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Krishna Lok Prabhu is a very senior practitioner in spirituality, and I was not expecting this class or this presentation is for just very new beginners who don't have much information about spirituality, but I'm very happy that one of our very senior God brothers are watching and appreciating by your blessings. Thank you. We try to give this knowledge. Okay. Thank you to all the other devotees who have written the comments or who have given me. It's 1 hour over, and so we can wrap it up. I think nobody has any questions right now. If anybody has any questions later on, if the live stream finishes, you're most welcome to write those questions in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them later on also. Thank you, and Hare Krishna.